I'm Jack Henry, and I used to get zero attention from women. Then I spent years studying attraction psychology and creating frameworks to make dating a science. I achieved dating abundance, I helped some of my friends achieve dating abundance, and now I'm helping people online do the same. I make videos like these and do one-on-one coaching. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down a guy who's struggling with dating named Charlie. I'm going to give a quick summary of his situation, then spot his biggest bottlenecks, and then create some tasks for him to complete to fix his bottlenecks. Alright, let's get into the overview. So Charlie really is craving to be with a woman, but he's unsuccessful with it. He'd be fine with a girlfriend, he'd be fine with just some straight physical intimacy, whatever he could get fastest. He doesn't have the external confident energy to go up and approach a girl, to make a move on a girl he's interested in, any of that. He's also a huge bum. He doesn't do much with his life and spends all of his free time smoking weed with his friends. At least he doesn't use it alone. He also has a moderate porn addiction, and while he claims that it doesn't affect his external life, I'll explain later why it does. He's also vegetarian, and we'll get to why that's important later. Alright, let's move into the bottlenecks. So I'd say the most direct thing that's stopping him from getting with women is that he has no external confidence. External confidence is how confident you seem to the outside world. So this is your energy level, your confidence in yourself, the way you speak. Now if you notice there's a little number 33 next to the external confidence. Well, that's because it's at the 33rd spot in my progression ladder. My progression ladder has every single bottleneck in order, where number 1 is the first thing that we need to solve because that's impacting everything else. And the last number on there is the last thing that's important to fix if you want dating success. So external confidence is near the end. But that's because there's a lot of things you need to do first before you can fully achieve external confidence. And specific to Charlie, the biggest thing that's bottlenecking his external confidence is going to be his hormonal health. It's a problem that's way upstream compared to external confidence. But why am I saying that his problem is hormonal health? Well, I truly believe he's having a problem with testosterone and his other hormones. And this can be explained by the 3 bottlenecks to hormonal health that I'm going to write on the board right now. So as you can see, those things are diet, substance addiction, and porn addiction. With them having the latter spots of diet at number 2, substance addiction at number 3, and porn addiction at number 6. I want to explain why testosterone is important and then why each of these affect it. The biggest thing here is that testosterone is super important for external and internal confidence. It greatly improves your mood and can be the missing link between feeling like, oh, nothing matters, and oh my god, I love life, I like chasing my goals. And also related to goals, it really is what gives you that persistent drive to be able to achieve them. It's also the thing that grows your muscles, so low testosterone means slower muscle growth. Lastly, and what I think is an important and underlooked side of this, is that it's what gives you your true sex drive. Now guys like Charlie feel like they have a high sex drive because they really want women, but they don't actually. The higher your sex drive, the more likely you are to go leave your house, go find some random girl on the street, and start talking to her. So what Charlie actually feels high in, other than his weed addiction, is going to be just an emptiness that he wants filled by a woman, and maybe some stimulation. There was a guy in my fraternity where all he did all day is scroll on dating apps, watch porn, and complain that he got no women. He wanted a girl so badly, but because he had a low sex drive, even if he thought he had a really high one, he didn't actually put in any effort to get girls. Because dating apps isn't actually putting in effort. It's pretty high leverage for something that you put so little effort into, but if you want women, do something else. So why is diet important to testosterone? Well, physiologically, you need building blocks to make hormones and everything else in your body. If you don't have the building blocks, you can't make them. And hormones dictate almost everything in your body. And the building block that Charlie is missing in his diet is going to be cholesterol. Now, I'm sure you've heard that cholesterol isn't good for you. You don't want high LDL cholesterol levels in your bloodstream, but cholesterol you eat does not relate to that. It's complicated, but basically the daily value that you see on a food container for cholesterol, that's how much cholesterol you need to eat in a day to not be deficient. And if you're a vegetarian, you're probably not getting barely any cholesterol. Why is that? Because cholesterol mainly comes from animal fats. So if you're not getting animal fats, you're not getting cholesterol, you're not building the hormones, especially testosterone, you're going to suffer in all the aspects of that, and especially with external confidence. Now moving on to substance addiction, his problem here is obviously the weed, but why is weed bad for testosterone? For one, it suppresses something called luteinizing hormone, which then, in turn, reduces testosterone. It also greatly reduces REM sleep, which is the most important part of sleep, and if you don't get good sleep, it messes with all your hormones, especially testosterone. On a more indirect note, weed obviously makes most people more hungry And the more often you smoke, the more often you're going to be overeating. I see some of my peers who are always high, so they're always overeating, and they think that that's just how hungry they normally are. And it's like, no, you just constantly have the munchies, so you're always overeating. And why is overeating bad? Well, one, you don't want to get fat. But number two is that the more body fat you have, the more hormones get released that directly block testosterone. So I have a full testosterone maxing guide that I give my one-on-one coaching clients. And one of the most important things there is reducing your body fat. That's why obese guys you often see have very low testosterone behaviors. Lastly, with weed is that it increases prolactin. Prolactin is the hormone that gives you post-nut clarity. The hormone that makes you feel tired, relaxed, but not want to put in any effort and just have zero sex drive. Alright, now why porn is bad for your hormones, the biggest thing is dopamine overstimulation. When you get overstimulated with dopamine, it reduces receptor sensitivity. And then that downstream blunts testosterone expression. Also, when you orgasm, it increases prolactin, the post-nut clarity hormone. Porn also reduces your baseline sensitivity to real-life women, whether that's physical intimacy or just seeing someone that you otherwise would have been attracted to, but because you got porn messing up your brain, you just don't even find her attractive. I'm sure you know at least one guy who refuses to say any girl's attractive and just is constantly calling everyone ugly. I can almost guarantee you they got this problem from porn. Lastly, a lot of guys go through shame loops with porn. This increases cortisol, which then in turn reduces testosterone. Alright, now I want to go into actual tasks for David to complete. I'm going to give him 3 of them. The first is to increase his intake of animal fats for that cholesterol so he can make testosterone. If he wasn't vegetarian, I'd tell him to eat beef and eggs and salmon, but the fact that he is vegetarian means he is allowed to eat eggs. So if he's down for that, I'd tell him to just eat hella eggs. The second task I would have got him is to throw away his own supply of weed. But he already only smokes when he's with his friends. So what I'm gonna have him do to reduce his weed use is to send a message to his friends saying, hey, I wanna smoke less, can you help me with that? Now hopefully they fulfill his ask here. If not, he might just have to see them less or cut them off completely. Because the behaviors of the people around you really seriously dictate your behaviors. If you hang around drug addicts, I could almost promise you you're gonna turn into a drug addict. And then the last task to help him with his porn addiction is I'm gonna give him a simple rule of having no screens in bed. But while I can't relate to being vegetarian, I can definitely relate to having a weed addiction and a porn addiction. I don't have those problems anymore, but I used to be extremely addicted to weed and I had a porn addiction for half my life. If you're failing to have success in different parts of your life, like Charlie is with women, you're not going to get a different outcome unless you do different things. But one of the best things that helped me quit my porn addiction was just not allowing me to have screens in bed. Like, it was pretty much guaranteed that if I had nothing to do, and if I was in bed with my phone or computer, I was going to end up watching porn. I've got a whole library of tasks to quit porn addiction, so if that one doesn't work for you, I've got some other stuff. Check out my other videos, or if you want direct help, we can work one-on-one coaching once I open that up. If you want me to cover some topics in a future video, comment them down below. If you like this type of video format, subscribe because I'm making one of these literally every single day. I'll see you in the next video.